Hello, Sun City residents. This is Rusty Bradshaw again with some highlights from the Recreation Centers of Sun City Member Board Exchange meeting that ended here about half an hour ago. And it was a short one. It only went 2 hours this time. And as I left Sundial, people were amazed. Then one lady was talking about how she can now do her grocery shopping instead of sitting through another hour and a half. Anyway, in the beginning of the meeting, they gave a presentation on the update of the Mountain View Recreation Center project. Chris Nettesheim made the presentation, and she talked about how now they're into the phase in which they're visioning the project and trying to work out some preliminaries about what's going to be involved. Once they have an idea, they will make a presentation, and then an engineering survey will be conducted, and they will begin programming the particular details for the project. They also want to continue to take resident input, and not only from individual residents, but from the groups that will be impacted by the Mountain View project. They will be providing usage data to Triarch, the architects. Then they will do an outline of what the project would look like and the required cost controls. They expect that to take 2 to 4 weeks. Triarch will conduct further stakeholder input activities. Following those input activities, Triarch will put together some conceptual drawings of the facility, and that is expected to take 6 to 8 weeks. Following that, programming will continue, followed by another presentation, and they figure that presentation will probably be around August of this year. Following that, the board will make its decision on the direction for the Mountain View project. Then detailed design will start. Ms. Nettesheim said the board is committed to keep the Mountain View project going. Moving forward, there has been some concern that after the general manager was terminated, that the project would come to a screeching halt, but that is not going to be the case. That will have no bearing on the continuation of the project. Ms. Nettesheim also encouraged residents to like the Recreation Centers of Sun City Facebook and YouTube accounts, because updates will also be presented there. And there were a number of resident comments. The highlight that I will give you is from someone who suggested they start to plan the next annual members meeting. They suggest this meeting should include some stats on the financial situations, maybe a preview or a review of what took place in the previous year, and maybe a report on the vision for the corporation. The meeting should also, according to this resident, include entertainment, which, in addition to all the other items mentioned, would bring more people out. And Board President Tom Foster mentioned that the RCSC officials are working on a master plan for the RCSC facilities, which should give people an idea of what that vision would be for RCSC. Now, during this meeting, they also went over some topics that were gone over in the last exchange meeting and giving an update on where they were. People wanted to amend the bylaws to allow motions for the annual meeting to be submitted sooner, to allow time for a review, and that was one of the motions that was made at the annual meeting, and all of those motions are being considered by the bylaws working group. It was also asked what work is going to be done on the Willow Creek golf cart parking, and that is scheduled for this summer. It was also asked in last month's exchange meeting when the pickleball courts at Mountain View were going to be repaved. And in fact, that work is underway right now. In addition, the tennis courts at Mountain View will be addressed also during this repaving of the pickleball courts. And the Players Club continues to suggest that they have an alternative performing area while construction is being done at Mountain View, and that is under investigation by RCSC officials. And an alternative cooling system for the Vintage Vehicles Club of Sun City facility on Grand Avenue project is on hold at the request of the club because they wanted to do some additional research. They were also wanting to get permission to have someone go to the facility and look it over as part of that research. And Mr. Foster said that that could be arranged. People also want to change the name of the Performing Arts Center to theater, and Mr. Foster said that would be a discussion for later as they begin the design process for Mountain View. Several people want to make the financial statements by RCSC more understandable for the quote layperson, someone not really versed in financials, and that's been referred to the finance and support senior leader Kevin McCurdy and the treasurer Anita Borski. And I'll add here my own perspective from years of covering school boards, city councils, rec centers, HOAs, financial reports for organizations of that size are confusing because they have a great deal of detail that if you're not familiar with it, you're not going to understand no matter how they try to simplify it. I don't know that that's going to be possible. Someone suggested today that possibly a short paragraph on the financials explaining whether they are within budget, over budget, under budget, and an explanation of why those situations are occurring might be helpful. Someone asked why there were conflicting meetings during the annual membership meeting, and after some research, the only RCSC event that was scheduled during the annual meeting was the Sun City Square Dance at Bell Center. And I can tell you that in a community like this, where there are so many activities going on, you're never, ever going to have a situation where the annual meeting is the only thing going on in the community. And it was asked if one of the doors at Sundial could be made into a handicap door that automatically opens. And in fact, that's already been done, and it is working. Okay, and that is pretty much the highlights of the member exchange meeting. If you're interested in seeing that in its entirety, you can do so. Give it a day or two to be put up on the RCSC YouTube account. And you can find a link to that on the RCSC website at www.suncityaz.org. And that is it for today. And I thank you very much for watching.